So I've gotten another fight right about Canelo. Now Canelo is back talking again. He's back talking. So he was already talking and negotiating, but he's back talking to Chris Eubanks. I was already saying this a couple of months ago that Chris Eubanks Jr. was a person that he was talking to decide whether he was going to fight him or Belanga. For some reason, he go to 160 and he ain't fighting Janovic, who's the champion. Because usually when people say, well, he's a champion at this weight, and for some reason he'll reach down and fight Chris Eubanks, who everybody was just saying that was a terrible fight for Terrence Crawford. Chris Eubanks ain't good enough to fight. He's not even a champion. Why would Terrence Crawford fight him? So Chris Eubanks is a realistic option. But, boxing is in a sad situation where, like I said earlier, you got a lot of fans who put pressure on guys they don't like or don't think is good. They want them to fight the best. But the guys they say are the best, they don't want them to fight the best. Got to make that make sense. They don't want bad fights in boxing. They want the best fights, but they don't want the best fighting the best. So they complain about people not fighting the best fighters, but then they're okay with the fighters not fighting the best fighters. Huh? Make that make sense. Like, where are we at in boxing right now? Where are we at in boxing right now? Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's a lot more people tuning in to certain MMA fights or whatever than they are certain boxing fights. Certain boxers don't even get attention, especially if they don't bring views in. A lot of these people, they don't talk about boxers unless they bringing views in. I don't know if everybody know that or not. On YouTube, YouTubers don't get on YouTube to talk about boxers that's not really bringing in big fights. Or the ones that bring in the views. And certain boxers ain't just going to get the attention. I mean, you can talk about the main guys all day, but the sport of boxing is not growing. Bro, how can anybody think the sport of boxing is growing right now when you have Jake Paul about to make more money than 99% of the boxers in boxing? 99.9% of the boxers. He's about to make more money than all those guys. And they've been fighting their whole life. And they're online arguing and on Twitter and calling out and ducking. And this dude jumping in the ring, making a fortune. He's making big money. He's hanging out with Eddie Hearn as a equal. He's like, oh, I'm a promoter too. Oh, I'm doing this too. Man, Jake Paul done got out here and became a promoter. He putting on main event fights. He done fought on every platform. And we accepting Eubanks and Canelo because that's where boxing is at right now. See, in MMA, they'll do live betting because they believe in what they have going on and they don't think it's a gimmick. In boxing, they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go to a Canelo fight and be like, you know what, I'm doing a live bet like they do in MMA. It's not like that. They don't believe in it. They already know in their mind, hey, we got this guy that's supposed to win. We want him to win. We got this guy. It ain't like that in UFC right now. I mean, they would like for certain people to win, but they're not going out there trying to make sure that John Jones is guaranteed with a win or Conor McGregor. Man, you know how many times UFC could have went out there and been in certain situations and told the referee, hey, man, stop the fight. Conor McGregor won. He winning. He got too many strikes. You know how many times fights could have been stopped for that reason alone? So it's not like people just abusing the system where, oh, yeah, we got to make this. Yeah, UFC's not even doing this. They're not even catering to just certain boxers or giving them passes and say, hey, man, this dude, let's just see this guy fight anybody. It's never been like that. That's why the sport is still growing. And boxing is at a standstill. People saying, oh, well, Turkey on the Sheik spending all this money, he still ain't selling no tickets. Okay, that's not a good look for boxing. Oh, well, Canelo's the only one who's selling right now. That's not a good look for boxing. It's not good. I know Jake Paul's selling. I can ask Netflix that. I know Netflix got the real pay-per-view numbers over everybody. So I just know Netflix knows. But this whole situation with Chris Eubanks, not saying that Chris Eubanks ain't a good fighter, but at the same time, Canelo could have fought Chris Eubanks before he fought Charlo. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this stuff is backwards. It's backwards. It's weird. It's messing up the fight game. A lot of people don't really know what's going on. You got people speaking out of turn. You got most of YouTube reporting fake Canelo fights for the past year and a half, 2 years. None of these people was talking about Munguia, Berlanga, or Eubanks. These guys was talking about Pacheco's and Benavidez, Crawford's, the other Charlo. Who else they was naming? Some other guy they was naming. Bitterville. Come on, man, that ain't finna happen. For what? Canelo tried to rematch him because he wanted to get undisputed real quick. Like I said, that's the only reason he was thinking about rematching Bivol. Man, let me try to get undisputed. If Bivol win, I'm gonna try to get undisputed. They're gonna try to keep undisputed away from a lot of these guys. For Terrence Crawford and Benavidez, it's gonna be hard for these guys to get undisputed at those weight classes. Because as soon as they get close, they move them. They opening up the gates for Chris Eubanks. That's terrible. I'm not saying I don't like Chris Eubanks, so the fight wouldn't be good. I'm saying it's out of order, bro. Like, what? Eubanks is good for Canelo, but not Crawford? So when people are openly admitting that they think that Crawford's a better fighter than Canelo. So Eubanks is too good. I mean, he ain't good enough for Crawford, but he's good enough for Canelo. So what? People think that Boots Ennis is a better fighter than Eubanks now? Or what about Janovic? I ain't heard nobody say Janovic should fight Chris Eubanks or should fight Canelo right now. I heard a lot of people saying that, but it would make sense if it happened now. Since he is a champion, he's not fighting any champions at 160 right now. They're all at PBC. They're guys that Canelo actually fought, like Lara. That would make a lot of sense. Carlos Adames trying to fight Canelo, so that would make a lot of sense. If him and Janovic fought each other, but I don't know, man. The fight game's getting weird right now. Definitely has to pick up because it's in a bad spot. It has to be able to flourish. And right now, a lot of people not really flourishing in the sport of boxing. There's a lot of weird moves going on. Definitely a lot of weird moves. But Canelo back in talks with Chris Eubanks. This is a sport of boxing that everybody's loving, that they appreciating. Guy jumping around from weight class to weight class. This is crazy. Then people acting like Crawford ain't got the same opponents as Triple G and Canelo. Think about that.